Not sure what that looked like on camera, but man, that felt pretty tight coming down between there. And good thing I got these things parallel. I didn't, you know, bottleneck at one end or the other. But again, me showing you what not to do. Make sure you're all clamped in. Hey, welcome back to the farm. I know enough to be dangerous. My name is Rob, and I'm gonna do my Captain Morgan leg up thing here on this log. So we're still on the pole barn build, and what we need is some weatherproof, all-weather treated some sort of lumber, and we're not going to use treated. We're going to use what we have on the farm. So we have this big locust log that we cut down the other day. This is the one that had the crotch in the bottom. So this is where I cut it. Unfortunately, it is too wide to get down between the two greenhouses to get to the sawmill, so we need to cut another foot off of it. I didn't want to, but there's no way to get around it. Some of the other longer pieces I put it at an angle and I can get down through there. It's 16 feet, but I'd like at least a foot on either side. I'm good with the tractor, but I don't need a challenge all the time. So we're gonna cut a foot off of this. We're gonna use the old Amazon saw that did not start the first time we tried it when we needed to take this down. I don't know if the saw is scared of this tree, but we're gonna try to get this thing running. It did run the other day a little bit when it was hot. It seemed to work fine, but we're gonna try it in this bigger log. It's about a 24 inches down here, the diameter. It's not a circle, I don't know what it is. It's like a football shape on the bottom, but we're gonna try this Amazon saw, cut a foot off of it, pick it up with the TYM because the New Holland 35 horse will not pick this up, and we'll take it down to the sawmill, and we're gonna try to get 7 2x4s, 12 foot long, and 6 2x6s or 2x8s, 12 foot long. I don't think we have enough in here, but we have to at least get the 2x4s out of here because they're going to be down. I don't know if they're going to be touching the ground, but they're going to be close to ground contact, so we really need this black locust post for that. The other wood that we have up is maple, and it's what we had, and it's what the logger, a previous owner, cut down and left for us to use, so we're using it up. This locust was actually in the way of the pole barn, so this is why we took this down, and it was very dangerous with that crotch on the bottom. It was not when or if it's going to split, it was when it's going to split. So we took it down, and we'll use the smaller chunks for firewood. We'll split it up. That stuff usually takes over a year to dry out. I don't want to sell green wood to people for firewood, so we'll do that. And there was really only this log out of that big huge tree that's good, straight enough and solid enough to use for lumber. So instead of making a couple big posts that we don't need right now, we need the ground contact 2x4, 2x something to nail our siding to close to the ground. The rest of it we can use the maple, but we need something that's weatherproof, bug proof, all that, and that's what we're going to use, this black locust. So we're going to lift it up with the TYM so I can get up or underneath it and it's not pinching me. It's on kind of a side hill, and if I cut down through here, it's going to pinch the blade and this, that, and the other thing. So we're gonna lift it up and we're gonna cut it off, and that's what we're gonna do. TYM tractor like this, I always park it with the loader down and the implement down. So when I pull the 3-point hitch to go up to raise the implement, if I do that fast and then try to raise the loader at the same time, they don't work at the same time. Is every TYM like that, or am I just noticing this? I don't think my New Hollands are like that. We'll check. But let's try to get this Amazon saw started. Safety stuff going on. I got my mark. I don't think this is going to go all the way through. Maybe at an angle. We'll try. We got the mental mark. Sorry if I'm talking loud, I got the earplugs on. We got the mental mark about here. So it did pretty good. That's a brand new chain, nice and chunky. It's about 24 from here to there. It's Locust, so it's not super hard right now. It's actually a little gummy, but as soon as this dries, it gets real hard. If you know, you know. And then that's a pretty cool thing. Maybe that's that'll be my anvil seat. It's kind of cool. That's really neat. So what we'll do is we'll try to get this thing, I'll set it down now and get in the middle again, and then we'll try to take it down between the greenhouses. So between the greenhouses is 16 feet. It's a little bit more because this curves that way if I lift it up, but this thing is pretty heavy. I don't want to lift this thing any higher than I have to. Not sure what that looked like on camera, but man, that felt pretty tight coming down between there. And good thing I got these things parallel. I didn't, you know, bottleneck at one end or the other. But it definitely, it's pretty close. I don't know, that lift capacity, that depends on that loader, is what they're doing that for lift capacity. It felt pretty heavy. It lifted it fine, but you can tell when it's heavy. And I have this thing's 1,200 pounds in the rear end, and I have ballast in the tires, so yeah. But it is also heavier on one end because it's bigger on one end. But let's take it over to the sawmill, see what we can get out of it as far as lumber. Never cut up black locust, green black locust, but it retains a lot of water when it's green, freshly cut down. I hope the blades, the the blades I use are for hardwood. We don't have any softwoods on the property. Strangely enough, we're a Christmas tree farm, but we don't have anything big enough to cut down for lumber. So I get the hardwood blades, and you know, when black locust dries down, it dries down to like concrete. Anybody that's tried to put barbed wire in a locust post or something, an old locust post, it is tough. But it's water resistant, bug resistant, and we're gonna. But you know what? You find a lot of ants around black locust. I don't know what the bug resistant, but weatherproof, it's pretty good. So we're gonna take this out to the sawmill. Hopefully we can get at least 7 2x4s out of this thing, but I'm hoping for 7 2x4s and 6 2x8s. But I'm probably gonna get 7 2x4s and a couple 2x8s. So let's see what we get. So that wasn't too bad. The issue I see now, see, we put these taller ones in with the angle going that way, so when you turn it, it kind of helps you. Those short ones are for when you get down closer, less wood. So this does do 30 inches, and I know I told you it's 24, but we got this thing. We got that thing right in the way of the head, the cutter head. So ideally you'd have this up and then cut it off with the sawmill, but as you can see, it's not round, so it'd be very difficult to keep it up like that, especially by myself. So I'll take the chainsaw and then we'll cut it kind of flush. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it just needs to, this needs to come off, or it's gonna hit right here. So we're good on this side. Here's the cutter head. I did get the bigger engine. I can't imagine getting this sawmill with a smaller engine. I put a car battery in it. It comes with like a lawnmower battery, but it also came with a hand crank here. But I upgraded to this power head, so it goes up and down just with a button. You know, hand cranking it doesn't sound like much. It's, you know, it's not hard, but when you're doing a lot of wood, that is very tedious. So they came out with this. They didn't have this when I purchased the sawmill originally, but they came out with this, and they gave you a special deal if you were a previous customer, blah blah blah. Which, this is great. I love this thing. Easy installation, but what they don't tell you, or maybe they did and I didn't see it, you're gonna kill your battery, this going up and down, because it runs on the battery, and I don't think this charges that battery enough for what this is using. I don't know, I got some stuff here, but it doesn't say the amperage that it's using, but I'd come out here the next day and the battery would be dead. So what I did is I took the battery box that it came with, I took that off. I got a cheapy battery tray, and I use the existing strap, so you know everything. I got some fittings, so they connect nice and almost looks professional, and that's the only thing I did to it. I really like this unit. You know, this is how you tighten and loosen it. We can do a fully rundown on this, but I don't have time right now. This is where you get your measurements of your board. So I did get one extension on it, so I can do 16, but you don't have enough room to do 16 because you need travel space. This 14 footer is pretty much my max length, so you got to take that into consideration. If you want to do 16 foot boards, you're going to need 2 extensions, because the head needs someplace to go. Once you cut this, you know, the head needs a spot to be so you can get your lumber off or your waste off. So there's no place for it to go. I would definitely put this here instead of down there. I'll move that sometime because that's useless. When you are using forks and you're getting down below this, so that's why I turned that sideways, because my fork was coming right here or real close to it. So you got to turn that, take that out, and then turn this sideways so you don't mess this up with your forks when you're putting it in and out with the forks. Very tough to do this by yourself, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. And I made this deck out of the corn crib. Those came from some railroad ties I found in the dingweeds. What I want to do, it's not tall enough. I find myself bending over when I'm cutting, so I want to raise that another foot. I want to get an I-beam, a 16-foot I-beam the whole way, so I don't have to keep leveling this. And so all you do here now is, and that locks that in place. It won't move on you now. And then we'll do the same thing to that one down there. But I don't like to have dirt on it. I'm not a professional, but you know, if you went through that with a chainsaw, it would dull that pretty quick. Here's the water tank. We use water and soap in the summertime, and then if it's freezing, we'll use like windshield washer fluid, the cheap stuff in there, so it doesn't freeze, and we still have lubricant because that lubricates the blade. What we had to do, I don't know why, but we've had this thing for 3 years. I had to move this way to get it on the blade because it was not going on the blade. It was shooting over here, but we got it dialed in now. You can see, press that and the water's doing what it should now. It was shooting up here, so that's the only thing to do. We do have to clean this up. I usually do it after every one, but been in such a hurry, even worse than usual. But we'll fire this up. Well, I'll go get the chainsaw, cut that thing off, and we'll get to work. So I'm back. Just got the sawmill all gassed up, gas everywhere, because you know about the gas cans, and they never really thought that through. They didn't think it through anyways, but you know that it's hard to get a gas can in that little gas tank and pour it, and I get it all over the thing. I got to get a gas can, the deal on the bottom there. I have a diesel one like that, and I love it. But anyways, so I need to cut this off. I'm going to use the Amazon saw, and I think I know what's wrong with this Amazon saw. I may or may have not taken apart this kill switch. It's very loose. You know, it's very loose, and the mechanism inside is very cheesy. You know, it's an Amazon saw. You wouldn't want to go into the woods full time with this thing, but Joe homeowner that's got a tree or something, some storm damage or something, or just to have a saw on the shelf, it's great for that. Since I fixed this, it seems to run fine, but I know that's going to be the Achilles heel of this thing. And you know, if you're making an economy saw, this is just my opinion, I don't know anything, but you're making an economy saw, maybe skimp someplace else besides the electronics. I don't know, somewhere. This thing, you know, put this thinner or something, because this is kind of a big deal. And I think it didn't look like it was even connected when I first got the thing, so I took this cover off and you can see it pretty good. And then I took it off, cleaned it, and put it back on, and then it worked. But when it's running, I hit it accidentally sometimes, and just the vibration, the thing was going on and off, and I gave it the grapes, and I think this thing was just vibrating so much it was, you know, losing the contact and just making it kill. But so far so good. I'm gonna cut this little knot off. I'm gonna go this way because you can't go this way because the bulk of the saw will be hitting here. Ooh, there's a stone. And we'll get that off and we'll start cutting. And I know what you're thinking, why am I all dressed up on a humid day, but the deer flies in here are absolutely crazy. Until I get the sawdust flying around, they're just nasty. So you're still doing pretty good. It didn't bog down too much. Anybody that's cut wood, that is tough stuff to cut, like across the grain like that on a larger limb on a tree. So I think we're good to go. We'll go slow, and we'll see we'll see how. I've never cut black locust on this sawmill, so we'll see how that goes. I think that's where we're gonna wrap up today's video. Really wish that, you know, the New Holland, this did fine, but I don't like taking the cab tractor in the woods. One, it's in the woods and limbs and stuff, but you can see the ends of the forks and stuff better with the New Holland. It's not a knock on this tractor, it's just cab tractor versus open station. And but lift capacity, the New Holland couldn't have picked up that log. So it may be three-wheeling it, but I don't want to do that. I'm done with that now. But that's where we stand, and thanks for joining me, and see you next time.